Just summarizing what the ambassador and both Vishnu have been speaking to us about, this is a very important, a strategically important meeting between Afghanistan and India. We're now going to tell you why Afghanistan matters. Obviously crucial for regional power balance, strategic location, key hub for global interests. All of this matters given the investments that India has made in Afghanistan. It also acts as India's vital gateway to Central Asia. And that is one reason why you have India talking across the table with Afghan Taliban there. But like I said, one of the most important points there being the regional positioning of Afghanistan. Also, stable Afghanistan means a stable region, very important for India's security interests. It's also rich in natural resources like oil, gas and minerals, essential for regional cooperation across South Asia. And that is why you have India talking across the table with the foreign minister of Afghan Taliban, which is Amir Khan Muttaqi. Let's just listen in to both the External Affairs Minister as well as the Afghan Taliban Foreign Minister Muttaqi and their opening statements.
We have had opportunities to speak to each other, once after the Pahalgam terrorist attack and the second time after the Kunar and Nangarhar earthquake. However, a meeting between us in person has a special value in allowing us to exchange perspectives, identify common interests, and forge closer cooperation. As a contiguous neighbor and a well-wisher of the Afghan people, India has a deep interest in your development and progress. Today, I reaffirm that our long-standing partnership that has seen so many Indian projects in Afghanistan stands renewed. We can discuss the maintenance and repairs of finished projects, as well as steps to complete others to which we have already committed. Excellency, we have a common commitment towards growth and prosperity. However, these are endangered by the shared threat of cross-border terrorism that both our nations face. We must coordinate efforts to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. We appreciate your sensitivity towards India's security concerns. Your solidarity with us in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terrorist attack was noteworthy. India is fully committed to the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence of Afghanistan. Closer cooperation between us contributes to your national development as well as regional stability and resilience. To enhance that, I am pleased to announce today the upgrading of India's technical mission in Kabul to the status of Embassy of India. India has also been a significant provider of food assistance to the Afghan people. A further consignment will be delivered in Kabul today. The plight of forcibly repatriated Afghan refugees is a matter of deep concern. Their dignity and livelihood is important. India agrees to help construct residences for them and continue providing material aid to rebuild their lives.
During the American occupation, there was many ups and downs that happened. However, throughout this time, we never gave a statement against India. Rather, we always sought good relations with India. We will not allow any group to threaten anyone else or use the territory of Afghanistan against others. India has always stood by Afghan people and has assisted them in many areas. Similarly, over the past 4 years, and particularly the recent earthquake in Kunar, India was the first country to respond in humanitarian assistance, and we would like to show appreciation. Afghanistan looks at India as a close friend. Afghanistan wants relations based on mutual respect and trade and people-to-people, political trade and people-to-people relations.
Vishnu Som with me now after we have just heard those opening statements from both sides. Vishnu, let's just start with the big takeaways that you have for us from the conversations we've just heard from both sides.
The biggest takeaway is the full restoration of diplomatic ties between India and Afghanistan. India is restoring our mission in Afghanistan. It was open, but at a much lower level. It's now going to be restored to the level of full embassy. So there'll be an ambassador back over there. There'll be a deputy chief of mission, and therefore full diplomatic ties between the two countries will carry on. So that's a huge step. I do believe that the mention of terrorism emanating from Pakistan, even though the word Pakistan wasn't used, is absolutely critical. And the fact that the External Affairs Minister did mention that Afghanistan and India face a collective threat from terrorism certainly points fingers at Afghanistan, fingers at Pakistan. I should mention that, and this was mentioned by the Afghan Foreign Minister in his joint statement, in his part of the joint statement, where he said that that Afghanistan stands with India, and Afghanistan did, of course, reach out to India after the Pahalgam terror attack. The fact that we've got mention of that at all levels is very, very important. The Afghan Foreign Minister did say that India was the first to help during an earthquake in Afghanistan. We will not allow forces against India to operate. We will not allow anti-India activities, and this will open a new chapter in the relationship. This is all absolutely critical as India looks to step up our relationship with Afghanistan once again. It's been a very difficult relationship at so many levels, but one which India has invested in very, very deeply. There's a sense that we have pragmatically moved towards accepting the reality of a Taliban government in Kabul. And we want to resume trade. We want to step up visas. More flights are going in over there as well. There is the possibility of business ties being restored. But certainly the large geopolitical concerns, which I alluded to, in other words, Pakistan and terrorism, and the fact that there are forces in Pakistan which impact the border region with Afghanistan, is not lost to New Delhi. It's not lost to Afghanistan. And therefore, there is a common ground over here, which appears to be emerging.
Vishnu, what could this mean for the deteriorating Afghanistan-Pakistan ties as well? This big statement coming from the Afghan foreign minister.
I think it is a huge, you're quite right. I do believe that this is an extremely important statement. I do remember seeing a photograph of the Afghan foreign minister in Kabul a day after the previous government had collapsed. There we saw very dramatic images of the Indian mission being evacuated and then being flown back to India in harrowing conditions on board Indian Air Force aircraft. At that stage, it seemed unbelievable that the Taliban had caused the collapse of the Afghan government, which was being propped up by the United States for so many years. In fact, since 2001, 2002, when the Al-Qaeda had been defeated in Afghanistan. But that era of Afghanistan's history, which saw a restoration of full democracy in the country, a vibrant parliament, the rights of women, women political leaders, true democracy, in a sense, that all disappeared to a large extent with the Taliban coming into power. The rights of women, the status of women, and education. These have all been very active concerns. At one level, that would remain a concern of New Delhi. But I think the larger, broader geopolitical concerns and the fact that the Taliban in Afghanistan appears to be fixed and is going to be there for a period of time, if not indefinitely, is something that New Delhi recognizes. And I think as the fact that we've also said that we recognize the territorial integrity of Afghanistan and the sovereignty of Afghanistan is the clearest statement that India is going to back this government over there, besides what I mentioned earlier, which is the restoration of the full mission.